I liked it. I mean, it was, you know, it was, the bar scene was great, I thought.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really good. I thought it did justice to the old and brought some new. And
yeah. Yeah, there wasn't a lot more you could do with it, other if you really stayed on track with what was going on, because it was so early in these this type.
The problem is the same held true for the first one. It's like the timing. Like they get off this planet, they go to this planet, and they got 15 minutes to go back to that planet to stop them from shooting.
It was the same thing as The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's just like, really, like that. Just like it's just like I would have liked them to like been like, all right, well, we're gonna take a week now, and there's a little bit of story in there, and then they pump the plan. It's not like it happens instantaneously. Like it's just it's so implausible. But it's fine.
But
it's not the end of the world.
No, well, it was the end of that world.
Oh yeah. It's not the end of the.
Right. No, it didn't. It was the same. It almost followed. You know.
Well, it did. It's like they all follow the same, except for Empire. It's like destroy the big thing.
Right.
Destroy the big killy thing.
So I guess Luke is going to teach her.
Well,
he's going to say to her, the next one's going to start out with him saying, no, you keep it, I'll teach you how to use it, or something like that. He's not going to take it back, I don't think.
Well, it's bringing balance back to the Force.
Right.
The bad guys have been around now.
Right. And
good
the
and
other,
bad.
The grandson, Darth Vader's grandson, wasn't killed.
No.
But the big guy wants him to be brought to him. So that doesn't mean that he's going to do anything.
Whoa! Fuck.
That doesn't mean he's going to kill him, but
no, he said he said he needs to complete his time to complete his training.
Yeah, but I thought that could mean he's going to kill him.
No, he's probably going.
No, he can't because there's nobody left to be the dark side.
Well, no, he's completed because he killed Han Solo. He killed his father, so he proved that he's
on the dark side. Oh, is that what he meant? That he,
I think that's what it was.
Completed his training. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
It's time to complete his training now that he's been proven.
Right, and the way to take you over to the dark side is to kill your father. I can see that.
Would have liked a little more backstory as to who that Supreme Leader
all of a sudden, and Darth Vader had to be reporting to that guy, right?
Well, no, it was the Emperor. Like that's what I mean. Like, well, the Emperor.
It was the Emperor before.
Yeah, when the Emperor fell, there was a vacuum, and then the Republic came back from there, and then from that, these guys came around. But there's not really much of a story as to what the political story of it, or
Yeah, so that could be one of the movies, or are they just going to go on from here?
No, they're going to have other areas. I mean,
that could be a prequel.
It could be a prequel where they explain it,
but it's kind of self-explanatory with these stories, But it's what it is. It was Star Wars.
It was good. There was a lot of cool little. They put a little bits and pieces from the old ones in there, from stuff like. It was real hard to pick up, but when they were in the base and they were looking for him, they came over the intercom and says, "We think they're splitting up. We think they're going on." That was the exact line from.
Oh, really?
The first Star Wars, when they were in the Death Star rescuing Leia. It was one. It was one of the things they were saying over the intercom when they were looking for him. And the little black robot. There was a little tiny robot on the ground. That was in the first one.
I think the guy who was on the base, the very first scene, might have been the same guy who was loading up the Death Star in the last one, who was running the base in the last one, but he was only on for a split second.
No, he died.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he was on the Death Star when it blew up.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't bring him back for just a little cameo.
Oh, you mean it wasn't the same?
Right. He wasn't the same person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just was
possible.
in there for a second. Yeah. But then I thought about it, and he looked too much the same. So probably just was somebody who looked like him. They all look the same in those uniforms.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the stormtroopers were, people inside there. I thought that they were robots.
No, they back in the Empire, they were all clones, which the prequels got into, like the Clone Wars and how they did. But all the stormtroopers in the original Star Wars were all clones. They were all the same dude inside, but they were genetically bred to be a fighter.
To not be able to shoot.
These guys are not clones because they made that
right,
point that maybe we should use a clone army. They're just taken from birth and then trained, but they're all different. They can have girls, they can have black guys and white guys, and whatever. Which is good that they explained that, because Star Wars purists would have like a conniption if they didn't say that. Because that girl that worked for me, Freda, that was one of her things. She's like, stormtroopers aren't black. I'm not racist, but they're just not black. This is not how they were. I'm like, well, I told her, I said, well, maybe there's something else going on.
Yeah.
That they're not clones anymore. Maybe they ran out of clones, so they couldn't clone them anymore or something. She's like, oh, that might be true.
Yeah. Anything can happen in these.
So the big question is, Rey, is she? Who is she?
She's going to be the next. She's going to be trained by Luke.
Right, but her back, like, who's her parents? Like, why was she abandoned on the planet? Like, that's all stuff that people are going to say that Luke's her father and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of incest. Not incest, but there's a lot of familial coincidences in this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody, they've got the whole galaxy populated, but there's 5 people that have made all the key characters.
Well, that's the Force. You can argue that's the Force working.
Has to be passed on.
Well, no, the Force works to keep them bringing them together, because it's their destiny or fate to constantly be running into each other, because they're all important.
I see.
For the balance of the Force or whatever. That's how you explain away the whole. Just happened to be on that planet with that guy. Just happened to meet the damn droid. That's the Force.
The Force is fate.
Yeah,
kind of.
Fate. It's not. It's not made. It's not permanent, but it does draw things together. So that's how I can be okay with that. But I'm not okay with the whole. It takes 5 minutes to come up with a plan and execute it.
Well, I thought that was pretty quick. Yeah. So here's what we do.
Yeah. Oh, you used to work there. Yeah. What do we do? Oh, well, you just do. Oh, okay, we'll do that. Like, really? Right. Like, there's no possible way it's gonna work.
Right. Yeah, I thought that.
That's the only thing that they do.
But then I mean, what are they going to do? Make a scene where they're sitting there discussing?
Well, you have a cutscene. They're like, all right, let's figure out what to do, and then it's like they do a little thing. It's like, okay, like sometime later, not like immediately after they get it. Like it could be a couple days.
Let's gas up the planes.
It could be a few days. Maybe they come up with some crazy plan, but whatever.
Well, the Force brought it all together in a couple minutes for me.
Yeah. Well, it's just like in the original Star Wars. At the very end, they're orbiting the planet to blow up the moon. With the star that star, they're going to blow up the moon, and it's like, well, we have 30 minutes till we get around the planet, out of the way of the planet, so we can shoot the moon. I've always been like, why didn't they just blow up the planet?
It's in the way.
It's in the way. They could do that. And the planet blowing up would probably destroy the moon, I would imagine. So, like, problem solved. Problem solved, bad guys. You could have just done that and not have waited. In the original ones, there's so many of those times where you go, why don't they just do that? But
you have to
it was
belief
it was so long ago.
Yeah.
They didn't really. They weren't that sophisticated.
Right. That's why this was. This really is simple as far as the special effects go.
Well, they did a lot of this. They did in practical. They didn't do a lot of CG stuff. Yeah, he said specifically they didn't want. They wanted to get the feel.
Well, yeah, right. That's what it was. You couldn't. Right. They didn't have all the stuff they have now back then. So in order to keep it, keep the vibe the same, they had to.
Feel the same. That was one of the biggest issues
that was
with
good.
The prequels.
Yeah, well, that was good. I thought that was good. To make you feel like it was the same kind of movie. but there was it wasn't great. I wouldn't say. I would
You know
just
what?
say it, but I don't think. But Star Wars.
The
really
original ones
wasn't
was no.
considered
If you
great,
really look at it, it's not like a cinema
it's
masterpiece.
Right, it's good
It's
against
just
evil.
it's just a great story
Right.
and a good.
And the first one really.
And the special effects were amazing.
It kind of just rolled on. You know, it wasn't like a spectacular thing where everybody went out to see it, and it kind of was something different, and it just kept rolling for weeks. You know, you could see it in the theater.
But even now, like I just rewatched, and to be fair, they are the updated ones. But even where you can tell they didn't update them. I mean, the special effects were they're still pretty good. When you look at what they were doing, like how you can see the ships and everything, I mean, they're still pretty good for even today. Like you don't go, oh, well, that's just totally fake. You go, oh, that's pretty. You know, I could believe that.
Yeah, right. It's almost believable special effects that they have. They're not way out of hand. It was fun. I don't think I could watch it again. I was thinking of taking Will there this week, but it's not that great. And he probably wouldn't appreciate, the fact that it's consistent with the old ones.
They might. They'll still watch them. Even younger folks, they get into it because there's all this hype around it. People,
Yeah, well, it is a classic. What makes it classic, I think, is that it was desirable when it was new, and it kept its, desirability over the years. It's just like same thing as cars. You rarely see a car that people didn't want when it was new become a classic later on. I can't even think of any.
that's all.
Yeah, I thought about that, but people, it's that's just collectible. It's not classic, I don't think. Did you ever watch any of Jay Leno's shows? Jay Leno's Garage? Yeah, I watched one when your mother was in. He is a nut about cars. I mean, I can't believe anybody could like a mechanical thing as much as he does.
Yeah, I've seen his things on his collection of cars, and motors, and engines, and all kinds of shit.
Right. He doesn't just collect the cars. He knows all about it. You know that this is original, and this won't work with that. Christmas Day is they're predicting 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
60, 65 or whatever, yeah. It's supposed to get a few days of cold. It's supposed to get a cold snap and then go back.
Tomorrow, I think, is supposed
it's
to be
44 now.
Yeah, for this time.
They said it's going to be in the 20s for a day or two and then go back or something like that.
Yeah, anything over, like, if there's no wind, anything over 20 is fine. If there's wind, it's got to be 40 or something or above for me to be comfortable anymore. I used to be able to tolerate the cold a lot better, but the last few years it gets to me. My mother, my God, her freaking apartment must be 85 degrees.
Yeah.
I go in there, I go, Ma, how can you live here? She goes, it's not cold. I mean, it's not hot.
Until she moves into your house.
Well, she's got her own thermostat in area there.
Yeah.
But just not keeping the house at that temperature, I would never be able to afford it. Here's your layers.
Electric blanket.
Yeah, here's your
telling
layers.
you, it is the best thing ever.
It's not supposed to. I used to have one. It's not supposed to be good for you, though.
It's just heat.
No, the electric.
We're surrounded by electrical fields all the time, magnetic electrical fields all the time. It's not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have it on high and it's right next to you, I'm sure it could, burn you or something. But it's just heat radiation. I mean, it's not like the electricity's going in you. It's just heat. It's just heat radiation. Heat, heat from if you stand next to a fire, it doesn't hurt you. If you get too close, it burns you, but it doesn't hurt you otherwise.
I do like it cold when I sleep, though.
What I do is I have a mattress pad on my bed, and I have an actual blanket in the living room. I turn the mattress pad on like an hour or so before, and I turn on like not high, but medium or a little lower, and it just warms the whole bed up. So when you get in, you're nice and toasty. But then you turn it off, so then it cools back down. But when you first get in, instead of those cold ass sheets, it feels so good. And I have the blanket out in the living room, so watching TV or something keeps you warm.
You see a lot of the new vans around already. They've only, other than the Sprinter, those tall vans, they haven't really been out for that long. And
Yeah, but they're not making the old ones.
I know.
So anyone that's buying a new van
has to get
has to get one of those.
Yeah.
Unless they used radiation for beat the shit.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So in about 10 years or whatever, probably the old ones will really be rare.
Yeah, you won't see them in another
Yeah.
few years.
Nor should you. I mean, they serve their purpose, but